A close friend of Pope Francis has shared that the Pope felt uncertain before his first visit to Poland in 2016, concerned about how followers of Pope John Paul II would receive him. During that visit for World Youth Day, Pope Francis encountered a warm welcome, despite initial doubts fueled by media narratives. According to Polish clergy, Pope Francis later gained deep respect among Polish believers.
My second impression was that he was really so uncertain who he would meet in Poland. And the Pope's associates explained to me later that it was related to the fact that he was visiting the homeland of his great predecessor, John Paul II. He received, or rather the press wrote about certain reactions, that these were people for whom John Paul II was still the Pope, who did not fully accept Pope Francis. Of course, this was not true, but this uncertainty of Pope Francis in this contact with Poles, this initial one, was visible. The only question is whether this was really the attitude of Pope Francis, or whether these were journalistic theses about this Pope. Time has verified this. It has shown that the Pope, if we speak in such categories, is rather a conservative Pope who does not change his views, who said about celibacy after Paul VI that he might decide to abolish priestly celibacy before the court. He said that he was a Pope who continued his predecessors, albeit in a different style, with different accents, and indeed reminding us of several very important fundamental issues, for example, respect for a person, even if they are not as we would like them to be. However, when it comes to the war in Ukraine, I completely agree that the words of Pope Francis, these initial ones, caused a certain kind of concern, shock, because the Pope, like previous popes, first of all, did not directly name the aggressor. The previous pope did so because it was assumed by a certain kind of logic and the need for Vatican diplomacy. In the case of Pope Francis, however, it worked so much that at some point Francis began to call the Ukrainians the victims of war. Every week during the Angelus prayer we heard about the Ukrainians, for whom we should pray, who are the victims of aggression.
Rzeczywiście bardzo rzadko
Indeed, very rarely naming who the
wymieniając,
aggressor is.
kto jest agresorem.
The Church needs a pope who, after these great pontificates, because fortunately in the 20th and 21st centuries there were great pontificates of popes, had to be a creative continuator pope. This means that it is important in what is not for the protocol after Francis, but also that he would look within this continuation at the pontificate of Benedict, a great theologian, professor, and also at the pontificate of John Paul II, who was so close to us.
Highlighting themes of unity, human dignity, and continuity with past pontificates. This rare insight offers a touching perspective on his early days as spiritual leader.
Pan sprawi. Niech całe brzegi wołają. Niech żyje papież.
Vi saluto